the free agent class of 2021.
George Springer, best leadoff man in the game.
Long gone by Ozuna.
Trevor Bauer, kind of that dark horse, that ace in your back pocket.
DJ, who's been the best player all year.
By far, to me, the last 2 years, the best catcher in baseball.
With all these guys out there, we have our little device. We've got our free agent slot machine. Still a lot of guys out there.
I used to be one of those other guys, Matty.
Yeah, that's right. D-Row, you were a free agent at one point, and so we'll try to sort it out, put some of these big names into the slot machine, give it a spin. Ken Harold and I will give you what we think. Was that your chair? Was that your chair? Or was that G-Man?
I think that was up there.
Was that G-Man Choi's ghost?
Ghost.
Man.
I'm trying to recreate that. That wasn't my chair.
That was hot. Let's spin the first roll here, guys. I put a silver dollar in.
Ken, you with us?
One. Kenny's with us.
Oh.
Well, Kenny's suggestions on this dumb game are better than ours.
There's something happening. He's got a hot lead on something.
Strikeout number 11, and it ties Jake Odorizzi's career high.
Jake Odorizzi, who bet on himself with some short-term deals to stay in Minneapolis, back out there again, thinking this might be the payday year for him. No shortage of teams, Ken, that need starting pitching. Where's the best fit?
A number of teams could use him. You're right, Matt. Twins, Blue Jays, Mets among them. I'm going to guess Mets. And they've been in and out on different starting pitchers the entire offseason. It seems like, to me, they're looking at this point for the best possible deal. And I don't know if that deal is going to transpire with Odorizzi. He was looking for 3 years, 12 to 14 million per year. Not sure that's still there for him, if it was ever there at all. But I'll go with the Mets there.
Wow, well, if you knew you were in on $40 million on one guy for a year, I would think money's there for Odorizzi if they want to spend it. But I got him going to the Angels. I keep waiting for the Angels to get a starting pitcher. I'm sorry.
Well, they've gotten 2 H. They just need more.
I sound like a broken record, but Matt, Angels.
I got it. I get it. For me, it's because the Blue Jays were out there, and I just can't believe they didn't land James Paxton. I thought that was a marriage made in heaven. I say Toronto could still use another starting arm, a veteran guy, Jake Odorizzi, to Toronto for me. But I hear what both of you guys are saying. Angels make sense. Mets make sense. I'm gonna spend the Mets money someplace else in this exercise.
But let me ask you this, Ken. If he sees the plan in Tampa, oh, you said Toronto. Never mind.
Yeah, Toronto.
Skip, man. Next.
Yeah, let's roll it again. What else we got? Tampa's not a terrible suggestion.
No, but I was going to say if that's going to want to throw more
really,
than what they're planning.
Yeah, that's not really
so
on brand for them.
Free agent.
Here's the next.
J to dive and make the play.
See, I'm going to tell you my plan here. All right, Kenny. Jackie Bradley Jr., one of the best defensive players in the game, let alone center fielders. He's one of the best defenders in baseball. What do we got?
Matt, I can read your mind. I know what you're thinking, and you're thinking correctly. It should be the Mets.
Yes.
Because you get Jackie Bradley Jr., you improve defensively, not only in center field, but you can put Dom Smith and Alonso, well, with the DH in that regard, in better positions defensively. You can do a lot of different things. You're better up the middle. But I don't know that the Mets want to go to the financial lengths that Jackie Bradley Jr. seemingly is pursuing. And I say seemingly because we don't know what exactly he wants. You hear from the teams, oh, he wants 4 or 5 years, $15 million a year. No one has established that firmly. Now, so if not the Mets, where? Astros could use a center fielder, but they're near the luxury tax threshold. The Red Sox, to me, still make sense. And I know they've got Verdugo, and they're set there in center field if Jackie Bradley does not come back. But they're looking at Franchi Cordero, Hunter Renfroe in the outfield. Maybe you bring Jackie back on a pillow contract, and he has another good year, and he goes back on the market. I don't know if that's going to happen. It's just my instinct, maybe. But to me, that would make sense.
Arnie, you just talked me out of what I was going to say, but what's Harold have for this one?
Don't sleep on this beat.
He didn't hear a word you said, by the way, Kenny.
No kidding, H.
So what do you have for Jackie Bradley?
We got a new cut. We got a new song. I got him going to the Mets.
Okay.
Here's the thing about Jackie last year. I spoke with him earlier this winter. He said, look at my numbers. He was, I think, third in average or attempts and balls hit the other way. He said, I got tired of, oh, way to swing it. That was 90 miles an hour. Great job. And I'm sitting next to the guy telling me that. And I started taking my knocks. They're going to give me half the field. I'm taking it. And he took off.
Okay. I'm with you. I say Mets, although Kenny did a pretty good job talking me into him staying in Boston, if only for the reason that they need a plus defender out there, man. Because they're not getting it in either of the corner spots around him. He needs to be the quarterback. The captain needs to stay there. But for the Mets, who seem pretty serious about moving Brandon Nimmo out of center field, witnessed by the Albert Almora signing, right? That's an insurance policy just in case, and maybe Almora clicks in camp. But I think it makes too much sense, and maybe some of that, buyer's remorse, seller's remorse, Trevor Bauer money that they had earmarked, maybe that can be reallocated into a center.
So now here's the other thing. On Jackie's side, the Almora signing might have him say, never mind, I'm not going there and all of a sudden platooning with somebody.
Oh, he's not going to platoon with anybody if he signs there.
I don't know about that. But you know what, Matt? You make a great point. The Mets were supposed to be the team that signed all the big free agents, right? Didn't get Springer, didn't get Real Muto, didn't get Bauer, didn't get LeMahieu. Okay, they did some interesting things regardless. They got McCann, Lindor, Trevor May. But if they now turn around and get Jackie Bradley Jr. and a starting pitcher, they're in a pretty good place.
Agreed. This will be interesting to watch. And we're running out of time, by the way. I mean, pitchers and catchers report this weekend. All right, let's roll it again. Who else pops up here? We've had good suggestions for both of these guys, for Odorizzi, for Jackie Bradley Jr., and the next player up on the slot machine is...
They got him. Strikes out Torres.
Taijuan Walker. And I guess you could apply some of the same rationale with Odorizzi that you could with Taijuan Walker, but would that come up with a different end destination for you, Kenny?
It does, and my choice would be the Angels. Now, Harold mentioned that they haven't gotten a starting pitcher. They've actually acquired two, Alex Cobb and Jose Quintana. But in my view, even with Heaney, even with Bundy, even with Ohtani and Griffin Canning, they need one more. And those pitchers that I just mentioned, all of them have basically histories where they haven't gone 150 to 200 consistently. So I would go get Taijuan Walker. He's a year removed from Tommy John now. He's not going to be up in the 200 inning range, but they need all the depth they can get because they don't have the high quality, except for perhaps Bundy. I would do one more if I were the Angels.
I like the Angels again, but I'm going to say go back to Toronto. That was such a great fit for him. And it was a short period of time. Look, when you're coming back from an injury, go where you know they're going to help get you back right. I think this is where he needs to go, back to Toronto. All right. If they so desire.
I'm going to actually ad-lib here. I was going to say Angels too, because if not Odorizzi, then they still need starting pitching help, and they do. But what about the Yankees as players for him? Because, look, there's a little bit of a dice roll involved in what they've done this winter with Kluber, less with Taillon, both guys that have had injury pasts. I mean, I think with Kluber not having pitched for 2 years, you could talk your way into whether this is good or not because hasn't pitched for 2 years. Red flag. But he's Corey Kluber. So you got to, sign off on the track record. They could still use an arm. And with the addition of those guys and then bringing back LeMahieu, which didn't make them better, it just kept them at the same level. I don't know, man. I mean, could they win that division with the roster they have? Absolutely. But in a postseason series, unless Kluber is back and Taillon clicks, they're going to need someone else. They're going to miss tonight.
And you're looking at a 162-game schedule. All right? So by the time you get to the postseason, because that's what it's about with the Yankees, will Kluber and Taillon be healthy?
Yeah.
I mean, will they still be at good strength to go another month of pitching when they haven't done it in the past?
They got to do something else.
There's one other element here we should talk about with the Yankees, and I think Matt is dead on with this. But they seem intent on staying under the luxury tax threshold, like it or not. I'm not saying it's a good idea. The Dodgers, we see what they're doing, and it's kind of the opposite. But they're up around over $200 million on the luxury tax side with the $210 million threshold. They're trying to sign Justin Wilson. They're still maybe in the mix for Gardner. I don't know that they have the room to get Taijuan Walker. Now, they have the ability to do it. I know Yankee fans get crazy about this with the payroll. I get it. But if they're seemingly intent on staying under 210, then a Walker probably wouldn't fit.
Makes sense. Good information. One more spin. We got time for one more spin before we take a break. Discuss one last potential free agent player in the wheel, and it is
Cal Ripken Jr. has reached the unreachable star.
I played with him up in Alaska one summer.
No, you did. You played with him in Baltimore.
That was a creepy picture.
That was the floating head of Cal Ripken that appeared in his wife's Zoom conference, which we can't get enough of.